YouTube. I didn't see you there. See, I was just contemplating in deep thought. What, you might ask? Well, how to do these next few videos. So you see, a lot of people have been asking me how I've lost all the weight. So I figure it would be good to make a few videos on how I've done that, but in a way that works for other people, so that they might be able to take some of this information and use it for themselves. These next videos are going to be broken up into a set of 3. This video is going to be for general information, sort of like building a foundation of your house. Second video is going to be about diet, and the third video is going to be exercise. Things I do, things I've learned that I can pass on to you guys. Basically, the things I'm going to be telling you are based on things that I've done, and I've gotten some pretty good results with them, and things that I've learned, of course. Now, I want to give you some reasons that you may want to listen to what I have to say. So, here are some of the reasons. If you notice, the name of my channel is Ryan's One Belt. The reason being, this is the one belt I want to use during my whole weight loss. If you'll notice right here, that's where I started. It was really tight. Now, currently, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is where I'm at. I, in a matter of 11 months, have lost over 16 inches off my waist. Now, reason 2. This is the shirt I used to wear. This right here is a 5X. It used to be tight on me. I actually should have been wearing a 6X. So, once again, ginormous. Alright, reason 3. These right here are the pants I used to wear. These aren't even the biggest ones. These are 54 inch. I used to be a 56 inch. That was tight. And I also probably should have been in around a 58 inch without putting those terrible cut marks on my stomach. Now, reason 4. My weight loss vlogs and my witty personality. But finally, the coup de grace. One of the reasons you might want to listen to me is this is the picture where I started versus where I'm at. 386 versus 230. A matter of 11 months. Pretty good, huh? Yeah. So, in this video I'm not going to be covering my story, why I did all this, like in total. If you want to see that, check out my 1000th video view and weight loss story so far. First off, you have to realize there's no magical pill that's going to fix this. Anything that claims in a magical little pill or that you can do this all in like a week is not going to last. You have to make a long-term commitment to your weight loss. You have to want to change. Now, if you're a larger person, I'm talking like a big person, not just an individual that has like 10 pounds they want to lose. The biggest thing that you have to do first is figure out what your addiction is. Now, you probably think like addiction goes with things like drugs. Well, that's generally true. Things like alcohol. However, it also goes with food. A lot of people can be addicted to food, but a lot of people can also be addicted to laziness, or they can be addicted to both. You have to figure out what your addiction is. You can basically say, I don't have a problem, as much as you want, but if you're 400 pounds, you have a problem. There's a lot of support groups out there, like Overeaters Anonymous, which are fantastic in helping you deal with these things. But when you recognize that you have an addiction, that helps. It's like a good motivator. Because it makes you think, like, I mean, if you think about a drug addict, you'd be like, oh, I never want to be a drug addict, this is terrible, how can these people do this? But you're abusing food. The problem with food, and the reason it's such like a terrible type of, let's just say, drug, is because you can't get away from it. You have to eat to live. So it is going to be one of the harder addictions to kick, because, like I said, you can't get away from it. So, with weight loss, one of the big things is going to be motivation. Before you even start to lose weight, you have to figure out why you want to lose weight. Because you're going to need to reassure yourself of those things. You're going to have to retell yourself these things. Weight loss is not the easiest thing in the world, but honestly it's not the most difficult either. If you are overweight, then you know the pain of being overweight. Things hurt. Your back probably hurts. Doing basic things like walking up the stairs gets you out of breath. Even going to the bathroom can be hard if you're really overweight. So the pain of losing versus the pain you're going through, that should be another motivation for you. Something I think about is mortality. If you're a 386-pound person and you look around, you'll see quite a few 20-year-olds that are in the same boat, really obese like you. When you get to 30, there's still quite a few. But when you get to 40, the numbers keep getting lower. When you get to 50, they're pretty slim. And personally, I have never seen a 60-year-old person that's near 400 pounds. Not a single one. So your life expectancy is going to be lower if you don't lose weight. Another thing that I found that you really need is to become accountable to as many people as you can. Basically tell every person you can about your weight loss. And the reason being is this accountability is another form of motivation, because people are going to ask you, hey, how's your weight loss going? How are things with that? And honestly, you're going to want to say everything's going good. But if you basically have ballooned up, people are kind of going to know that's not necessarily the case. When you actually do start losing weight, you have to remember to start small. You can't just jump right in. You can't say, alright, I'm going to start this diet, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start these exercises, I'm going to walk this long. I mean, technically you can, but you're going to get overwhelmed. If, like myself, you're starting at a really overweight place, you might be dedicated, but this is going to be a hard start for you, so it is honestly better to start small. When I first started, I could only walk 5 minutes at a time because of all the pain I was in. So 5 minutes became 10, 10 became 20, eventually I got up to 40, and then 40 became an hour and a bit. Then I eventually just walked up to the gym. I didn't go in, I just walked to the gym and I walked back, and progressed. Now if you've decided that you don't want to pay for a weight loss program, or you want to find something that basically you can do for the rest of your days, if you don't think that you're necessarily going to do a diet or a special weight loss program, which is kind of my big thing, because I want to show people with disability that they can basically lose the weight, and a lot of people with disabilities are not going to have a lot of money. So some of the big things you can use to basically alleviate that cost would be the internet, learning from people around you, researching at the library. Those are all really big things. Even when you're at the gym, if you see a person doing an exercise and you don't know what they're doing, you can ask them. I have not had a single person ever be like, get the shenanigans away from me. What are you doing? So you have a lot of resources out there, so I really recommend learning how to use those. It's obviously a different day. Why am I wearing a scarf? Because I can. Back onto a serious note. With anything you do, you always want to do your best. If you're not doing your best and you're giving up on a lot of things, it's a slippery slope for a person with an addiction. Being addicted to lazy or being addicted to food. When you start making exceptions, you basically put yourself on a possible path to failure unless you recognize it and stop it. So remember to just be on guard and make sure you're doing your best and you're putting in the best efforts you can on what you're doing. Remember, with whatever you're doing, one of the biggest things is not to get discouraged. There are going to be some ups, there are going to be some downs, there are going to be times when you honestly have messed up a little bit, but you have to pick yourself up and dust yourself off. You can't just give in because you had one bad day. There is a lot at stake. If you lose like 100 pounds, let's say, and then you just lose your motivation and decide to go and start eating the way that you are going to get all that back, and you are going to be yo-yo dieting for the rest of your life. You got to make a commitment to what you want to do and to where you want to be. The last thing I want to touch on is the fact that if you're a really overweight person, and you have been for most of your life, you have to understand you've spent so much of your life being this way. Your weight loss is not going to come overnight. You have to be patient, and you have to be persistent. I spend about 60 hours a month at the gym, and I lose about 2.5 pounds a week. Now, if a person was to hear, oh my gosh, you spend 60 hours a month at the gym and that's what you're losing, that may sound like a little bit in comparison to the hours I spend, but it's fantastic, and every single moment is worth it. So be patient, be persistent, and understand it took you a long time to get to the weight you're at. It's not going to disappear overnight. But I promise you, when it does, it'll be worth it. Alright, now to list all the points I've talked about so far. Here you go. So you might be looking at that list and thinking, well, this is really basic information. However, you have to understand that these are the things you're going to have to arm yourself with daily to succeed. This is like building a house. This video is for a foundation. Not everything in this video is necessarily going to apply to you if you're a person that's, let's say, extremely fit. This video, or this particular one, is going to be more for people who have a lot of weight to lose. The next few, which will be the one on diet and the one on exercise, will be more applicable to everyone. My next few videos are going to be kind of erratic. I want to do a perfect job before I get them out to you guys. So it might be out next week, it might be out a week and a half from now. I honestly don't know. It's gonna just till it's perfect. This video as it stands, I've spent so many hours editing, and I want to give the same respect to each of the videos and make sure I get it perfect for you guys. Now, I don't normally ask this of anyone that watches my show, but if you know somebody that could use this video, or, I don't know, use any of the videos I have, then please feel free to pass it on to them. I'd appreciate it. I also haven't checked in with you guys for a little bit, so right here is me on the scale. Alright, little weight update before I end the video. Getting on the scale, almost getting on that scale. Whatcha? So what do we see there? 224.6. Awesome. Pretty sweet, huh? Yeah, doing pretty well. Anyway, YouTube, have yourself a really good week, and you'll hear from me in the next while. Awesome! Awesome! That's awesome! That's awesome! 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 So I finally figured out what the hell this is called again. Broccoli!